Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yo, big up to the chat, big up to the people on the stream, big up to everyone. Welcome to the show. Back to another Sunday night live show. I was going to say welcome back to Talking Chelsea, but yeah, let's talk Chelsea. It's different. It's a new format, new setup, new show for everyone to enjoy. And look at the panel I have aligned for you guys today. It is a squad worthy of the Chelsea new model, new starting formation, new players, new everything. I got some legends in the house. I got some new guys in the house for you guys to get to know, and also to learn more about and get a different perspective in regards to Chelsea news and information. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to everyone in the chat. All of you who are jumping on, please do me the honor, the distinct honor of smashing the like button. I'm stealing that quote from someone, yeah? I'm becoming a little thief. If you know, you know. But yeah, big up to everyone. Let me welcome my panelists, and let me start with a debutant on the channel. Chris from Chris Chats CFC. Big up to you, Chris. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Mo. Good evening, everyone in the panel. Good everyone in the chat. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's gonna be good. We've got a lot to discuss. There's a lot of stuff going on with Chelsea at the moment. It's never boring for us, but now it's good news finally. So as I say, looking forward to it, and let's get the show going.
Welcome, Chris. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
And a returning legend, one of the cornerstones of the debate shows on the Blue Lounge. That's Jem from the Kings of the Bridge, formerly known as GNA TV. Jem, welcome back. How are you, my brother?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Feels like a long time since I was back on here, bro. Honestly, we had some really, really good debates on here, and everyone make sure you're writing up the likes for the Blue Lounge and showing all your support and love as you always do. And no, appreciate being here. It's a bit of a different turning point if you're a Chelsea fan compared to the last couple of seasons under new ownership. So there's quite a lot to talk about.
Welcome back. It's good to have you back, Jem. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, bro.
And talking about legends, one of the Chelsea YouTube community legends, worldwide Chelsea, Sadiq is in the building. Sadiq, how are you, brother? How you doing?
Thanks for having me on, first of all. I feel like Danny Welbeck, Henderson, returning, new experience. But yeah, it's good to be back. Big up the panel as well. Looking forward to this conversation.
Welcome back, Sadiq. Pleasure having you on. Another cornerstone of the Blue Lounge, another old school YouTuber, Blue Clouds Media, Nizayon. Welcome back, brother. How are you? Neo, on mute.
Lord. Thank you for having me, Mo. It's always nice to come back and discuss things related to Chelsea. Yeah, news won't stop popping up left, right, center. And can't wait to get a show going again.
Welcome back, Nee. It's a pleasure having you on, brother. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Leaving the best to last, Matt from the Stanford Sink. Fantastic content creator. Welcome to the show, Matt. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, nice one, man. Looking forward to it. Great to be back with Sadiq and Nee. It's been a minute, but also really good to meet Chris and Jem. Another summer Sunday. Lots more Chelsea to talk about. I can't wait.
Welcome, Matt. It's a pleasure having you on board. Welcome back. All right, people, we are going to get cracking straight away. And by the way, I see the comments. Big up to everyone. I see them, Matty. Probably have you on at some point in the future, Matt. So looking forward to that. Let's have a look at the first topic that I want to address with the panel today. Let me get the graphic up for you guys. So, we have been told that Chelsea Football Club are not able to change the model. They are not able to change the way they operate. And this was a consensus among many before this transfer window kicked in. Even though, you know, we had gone ahead and hired a up-and-coming, you know, proven manager in XABI Alonso, there was still a lot of doubt. A lot of people were not so sure if we are going to move in the right direction. We have seen a lot that has changed in this transfer window, and we are expecting to see more in the way that things are implemented on and off the pitch next season with XABI being at the helm. Has Benedad Iqbali, has the ownership, has the sporting directors, has the setup at Chelsea Football Club learned their mistake? Are they about to make things happen in the right way, in the positive way? Or are we just being taken for a ride and this is all just, a lot of hype? I want to know what you guys in the chat think, and I want to know what my panelists think. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys. Please let me know what you think in regards to the potential new model for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, I'll start it off. I'll go first. We were talking about this earlier, me and Jem was, and I think personally, I think that they've had no choice now. The serious period of reflection has had to come. I think we've never seen over the 4 years with Blue Coat the heat that the ownership have had over last season. I mean, it was so hot. They couldn't go anywhere. The fans were talking, in bad light about them. Pundits were talking in bad light. Obviously, we was performing very, very bad on the pitch as well. And I think that maybe the lenders were maybe looking at it as well, because that is what is actually bringing them in to the club and keeping them there for the long term. So I think that they've had to have a point now where they've had to have a serious transition. But my main concern is that they're just going to do it for one window, get everyone sweet, bring Alonso in, put the focus on Alonso, so they're taking a back step, they're not leading as much. And then after that, they'll say, right, we want to go back and tweak, back to our old model. That's not what we need. We need to push on from this summer, because this summer is looking very good at the moment. We still haven't finished it yet. We've got a long way to go. But I don't think they've had any choice. And finally, they're admitting defeat, and they're finally putting someone in charge who knows about football. We've got Dave Fallows in charge as well up there. He's looking at the analytics. He knows his football. He's been at Liverpool as well. Alonso's being able to bring in some key guys around the squad as well. So they've got to continue this. They've had no choice.
So change is happening. Change is coming. But you expect it only to be limited in regards to the time it's going to be implemented? Do you think they'll fall back into their old ways?
No, I'm hoping not. We never know what's coming next with these guys. They always shock us day in, day out. We never know what they're going to do. But, I would really like them just to continue from this. I'd like Benedad Iqbali to have a really, serious, look at himself in the mirror, because I think if he can take a look at what he's done, because it looks like he's been driving a lot with XABI Alonso this summer. And if it can become successful, and of course, bring in money, bring in revenue, bring in a good sponsorship for the money he wants maybe next season. I don't think it's going to be this season. He might have to have a look and be like, hang on a minute. I don't need all these sporting directors that I've got. I could save money there. Me and XABI Alonso are working very well together with this smaller, little, tight-knit community I've got. We can move forward with this and be successful. And I can maybe be liked and appreciated by the fans in future to come. So I'm hoping that he really takes this on board, and it's a massive learning curve for him.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think we're a window late personally with this. Don't get me wrong. It's good that we've now made the decision to actually look at the areas we should have sorted out last season. If you look at the window we had last season, I rated it a 4 out of 10. I wasn't impressed whatsoever. We all knew Garnacho wasn't going to be good enough to come into Chelsea and, take us to that next level. And that's the big thing for me. It was the amount of level raises we didn't bother getting last season that made us all, and I'm pretty sure all of us know, that by the end of this window, at the end of this season, we were never going to sort of challenge or be where we would want to be. And then we had the whole problem with Maresca. Obviously, he weren't happy, and all of the dilemma with Man City and the back end board stuff. And now, now we're in a position where I think they've sat down. They've had to take a lot of self-reflection and go, right, well, what have we done to this point? Why are we still not moving forward? There's a number of variable things. One, signing too many young players is never going to excel us up the league and put us where we want to be, quick enough. And there's no problem with buying young players, but XABI Alonso brought out a report on the Athletic brought out a report today with XABI Alonso in the interview, and they asked him, like, what are the things that you need to make a decent squad? What is it you need to take it to the next level? And the 3 or 4 things he mentioned, the main one was having senior players, older players, like the Hendersons and the Welbecks. But he also mentioned it was still important to have the young players, but also to have the 27, 28-year-olds who are sort of in their primes as well, in and around it as well. And I think he's spot on. I think it's about having that feeling with the squad and understanding that, not to go too much north or south, but to actually have the strength and depth that you need to be able to kick on like we should do this season. Even though I still feel there's a lot that, there's a couple of areas I would like to see done. I've done a video earlier on X, and I brought it out talking about the goalkeeping area. I don't trust Robert Sanchez. I haven't trusted him for a very long time. I still think with all the added quality that we brought in, we still might need to look at that. Are they going to do it all in one window? No, I don't expect them to. But they need to start really looking at now, after all the signings they've brought in, the outgoings. Like the 10 centre backs we have. He told us he only wanted 5. We've got 10. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot that still needs to be done. Yes, they've took the right steps with the manager appointing him. He also said today that, a big reason why he joined Chelsea is because they all agreed to sort of see the same vision. It wasn't like, this is what I want, and then they were just completely disagreeing with him, and he just went, you know what, we'll just go into it and see what happens. It was everyone's views are aligned. We're going in together with the same aligned views, and waiting to see what the outcome would be from that, really.
Yeah, spot on, Gem. Matt, thank you for the super chat, guys. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the super chat, Matt. Really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. You know what, Gem? I totally agree. I think this is something that they should have, actioned a lot sooner. Better late than never. There are still areas that we do need to address. The goalkeeping one is one that we are going to talk about later on in the stream. But yeah, we are moving in a positive light. Anyone else want to jump on and give me their thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. I think there's a couple of interesting things, really. I think the first thing about them, like, this window's obviously been crazy different compared to what we used to, is this was the first season that they didn't improve upon the last season since Bluco came in, because what was it, 12th, 6th, 4th, and then back down to 10th. So I think that plays a massive part. And I think if we'd have finished 4th, I don't think we'd be seeing this change. And maybe we'd still have the manager, do you know what I mean? I want to pick up on something that Chris said, actually, about being worried about it changing going forward or whatever. I think that's almost definitely going to happen. Because if you think, like, Xabi Alonso's only signed a 3-year deal, and if you, again, put that next to Graham Potter and Rafinha and Enzo Maresca, these guys are all signing 5, 6, 7-year deals, do you know what I mean? They're all signing really long deals. So Xabi Alonso is the first manager that Bluco have hired to only sign a 3-year deal. So
He's the first manager. He's the first manager.
Yeah, and the first manager as well. So I think Bluco obviously can't believe their luck, really, to have had the season that we've had and the finish we had, and then for their actual ultimate manager to become available, because even long before we got Xabi Alonso, it had come out saying that his project at Leverkusen was the kind of thing that they wanted to build long term, and that he was the kind of manager that they were looking for with Maresca and stuff. So they've landed their man, but he's only said, I want a 3-year deal. Do you know what I mean? So the onus is on them to make this change right now to show Xabi Alonso that they're willing to back him. But I do expect us to carry on picking up 16, 17-year-olds, do you know what I mean? It's like, I think the youth module will bubble under the surface. So I think the next couple of windows and then maybe even the next season and stuff, I think this is the biggest change that we're going to see. I think if we do well this season, the season after that, maybe we, when Danny Welbeck retires and when Jordan Henderson retires, all right, okay, maybe we look at getting, 1 or 2 experienced players to be around the squad to maintain these levels that Xabi Alonso is looking for. But I do fully expect them to go back to buying youth at the end of the day, because that is their financial model. It's not just their sporting one. But I think it's undeniable that Xabi Alonso's been back. The model is changing. You have to take the evidence that's put in front of you, and the evidence is that the kids weren't all right, essentially. So yeah, no, I think like I say, I think the evidence is there that they've been backed, or that Xabi Alonso's being backed, and I think he will continue to maintain the squad level that he manages to create this season. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think every single window or every single summer we're going to keep on buying loads of experienced players. I think we'll just keep it ticking over to have at least a core of experienced players in and around the squad. And obviously some of the players in the squad we've got now will hopefully age into those experienced players, and we will continue to bring more youth in as well.
I want to add something to that. I mean, I agree in the premise that this is still going to continue, and there is still going to be an overlap from the old model onto this. But one thing I think these owners have underestimated is the positive impact of sports and success on the financial aspect. I mean, sponsorship deal has been one that has been lacking ever since these guys walked in through the door. Now, if Chelsea were to win the title, if Chelsea were to, challenge for the title, let's not be too optimistic. Let's say, finished in the top three. Champions League football coming next season, they will be able to get a better sponsorship deal than what they are looking to get right now. Purely on the fact that we haven't achieved what we needed to achieve in the sporting sense. So I think with them following a more sporting aligned model, trying to achieve sporting success, and then that will have the financial return. And when they see that happen, I think it may have a positive impact in regards to the way they move forward. I'm curious to hear what Sadiq and Nee have to say about this.
Yeah, Nee, do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think everyone made great points as expected for sure. I'm also wondering whether the self-reporting that come up from the Chelsea owners had played a part in this. Of course, whether you can't trust what would have happened in terms of the penalties and fines and stuff. So maybe Chelsea had in two minds as well to go all out as much as we can so far and make sure that we've got ourselves covered in experience and make sure we have players for the season. Obviously, players want to leave. We saw Enzo Fernandez's interview, 8 games before the end of the season. We saw Chaverria obviously leaving. So I feel like, that also played a part. Even though Chelsea went ahead and gave the report themselves, a lot of teams, the rival fans, they want us, to get penalties and points deduction and stuff. So, I feel like that might have played a part as well in terms of how fast we're moving so far this transfer window.
One point on that as well, Sadiq, is they actually allocated 100 million pounds for this. They put aside 100 million pounds to deal with this whole FA charges bit. They've only ended up paying 20 million, so I guess that's another 80 million in the kitty for potential investment. So that's definitely a positive. Nee, your thoughts, brother?
Look, I don't think I don't fault Blue Coal for anything that they've done in terms of how the model they started with. Because if this model has gone on to be very successful, we would have called them genius. We would have called them the smartest, football owners in world football. Because we saw what IS did back in the days where domestically they were very successful with only young players. They had the best young players around the world. But they were able to do it in terms of, I would say, European competition. Domestically, they conquered, but we cannot look at the domestic in terms of domestic competition and try to compare that to the Premier League. So definitely, we're going to have challenges. Like I said, if they have done it and it has been successful, and I wouldn't say it was that also failure, that much of a failure, because we're able to win some trophies during those model still when they had that model. The model is still there, but then I never doubt that a time will come, which is today, that we're going to see Blue Coal trying to bring in experienced players. It's something that we all been wishing for. We all been crying for them to change things and add something to what they're trying to build. We call them genius when they saw the loopholes, saw the women's team to themselves, and do all that little stuff. That we call them genius. Same thing. We would have called them the same name if it has been successful. And like I said, never doubt today will come for them because they have no choice. Just like the brother on the right hand side said, the first guy that talked, just like he said that they have no choice. That where the money is coming from, definitely have to repay. And if they want to attract the best sponsorship in the world and make all that money that they're requesting for, definitely have to be successful on the pitch. And how to be successful, you have to blend experience with the young players that you already have. And I wouldn't even say we have teenagers anymore because the ones that they brought in 3, 4 years ago have now matured to be experienced. You can add the likes of Moses Caicedo, the Enzo Fernandez, and who else? We don't have teenagers anymore. We have XABI Williams. Even one season, he's playing the highest level. So I wouldn't even consider him to be. He's young, but then when we talk about experience, I always look at different factors that comes into the experience, and XABI has that. Playing in that highest competition, the biggest stadiums with all those crowds behind him, and whether it is hostile or whatever, he's seen it all. Most of our players have seen it all. So I think it's about time that we really challenge for the ultimate, which is the Premier League and the Champions League. And I believe that also for them to bring in the manager of Alonso of his stature means that they mean business this time. So I think we're on the right direction. We're on the right direction. And also looking at I know Sadiq talk about the band and all that stuff, the fines that Chelsea have to pay. Some of the fans are saying, "Oh, okay, some of the players that we brought in gained financial, advantage to Chelsea in terms of what they want." But if you look at the players that we brought in, Hazard himself came in after we won the Champions League. So where is the advantage that we gained from there? You get what I mean? So those things doesn't even come in at all. So yeah, I don't want to get into details as we're starting from one stage to the other. We'll get there definitely. We'll
get there, Neil, but I just want to clarify one point. Are you, because maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Are you claiming that the model has worked so far?
It wasn't that of a failure. No, it wasn't completely a failure. Because if we're able to win trophies out of it and make that astronomical money we made during the World Cup, Club World Cup, you wouldn't consider that, model for that time as a failure.
So the Club World Cup for you is a great achievement.
It's the greatest achievement. That complete the whole set that no one has ever done.
All right, fair enough.
I will just say quickly though. I will just say sorry with Nee's comments there. Like to a degree, I do agree. Like we had a bad period. We still was able to win some trophies, but the main thing for me, and I think a lot of Chelsea fans, we lost a foundation. We lost a culture. Within every single big team, you have a foundation that is throughout. It's continuous. If a player retires from that foundation, there's already someone there that's been there a few years, or them go into that mold. No one was really there inside the building that knew what it was like to be at Chelsea Football Club. There were so many players coming in and out, and we just completely lost it. We were stripped of everything. So although we was able to win trophies, absolutely, it gave us some great nights. We was able to enjoy it. The Club World Cup was good. The Conference League was expected, but hey, we still enjoyed it. But it was the foundation and the culture, which I think a lot of Chelsea fans were very unhappy with, that we didn't have anything to recognise and follow over that period of time.
I think it's a fair shout, man. If you consider Chelsea's success in terms of winning titles, I talked about this on a podcast the other day. When in the first half of Roman Abramovich's tenure, the team was made up of a core of the same players. Do you know what I mean? Even though all the managers changed and stuff, it was all the same players. It was John Terry, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Ashley Cole. These guys were in all of those title-winning teams. And then if you look to there was a bit of a gap, and then we won 14-15 and 16-17 with Mourinho, Mark II, and Conte. Again, the core of the same team, kind of like what Chris was saying there. There were these guys that had been in and around the successful times to kind of drag it forward. The problem we've had, even before Blueco, this is the thing. This isn't even specifically a Blueco problem. It's like we were tearing up the team season on season the last few years before Blueco came in. Obviously, bearing in mind, yes, the Champions League. For me, the Champions League papered over the cracks of that. The fact that we won the Champions League with Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and Mason Mount up front is wild. But at the same time, these problems go back a lot further than just even Blueco. Like not building a foundation and having that core of players to kind of continue on as other people get replaced and stuff. I think it's been one of the biggest issues we've had, and we kind of have that core now. So it seems like Xabi Alonso is getting all of these people added to it to add the experience and the profiles that he wants and stuff. But I think, the really important thing we're going to have to do is keep this core of players together and hopefully turn that into titles.
All right, I'm going to digress slightly. Still discussing the model. And I want to look at, let's change this and bring on this. So we've signed, Danny Welbeck was unveiled today. Hendo probably tomorrow. We've signed experience. We've signed a lot of experience. What is that? I think it's 71 years worth of experience in just these two lads. So there's a ton of experience coming in. Is this OTT? Is this the right level of experience? Is this the right direction? I know a lot of the fan base is very keen and very positive about Danny Welbeck and what he brings in. Not so much in regards to Henderson, but I want to get your thoughts on the way we have approached this aspect of the transfer window in regards to experience. So, who wants to take us? What's the thoughts with this? Yeah,
I can start. Yeah.
yeah.
Henderson. We saw with England a lot of people also saying, why is he getting called up? But he actually got along with a lot of the players in terms of with his experience and leadership as well. So I feel like Chelsea probably looked at that as well. We couldn't get Xhaka, and Henderson was the second option, of course. And yeah, both signings for me was the right one. Whether they play 10, 15, 20 minutes per game, we're only playing once a week. We might have 2 games a week a few times if there's cup games or if we go further down. So all in all, we have been crying for experience. It's always been kids coming in, and this is definitely a good move. Whether they don't need to play every game, and I'm glad Welbeck won't be scoring against us coming off the bench. That's another thing as well. So yeah, all in all good.
I think you have to look at the impact. I mean, there's 2 different variations here with both of these players. First, you've got Danny Welbeck, who's 35 years old and still giving you. He's making the difference on the pitch. So it's not like you're bringing someone in that's not actually able to offer anything. We're talking about someone that scored 13 goals last season and is actually able to have an impact on the pitch, which I think is a very important thing. And if I said to you guys, all in the chat and the panel, if you had the choice between Danny Welbeck and Delap to come off the bench on the 70th minute at home in a 0-0, a tight 0-0 where we're trying to break a team down and score, I guarantee the majority of you are going to say Welbeck. And that's just because he's better in the box, he's got a better box presence. He understands the role better. He knows where he needs to be and what he needs to do. The experience side of things with him, the fact that he can come on from the 70th minute and give you 20 or 60th minute and give you 20, 30 minutes. It's like having Danny Welbeck back of 2012. This is a guy that looks after himself physically as well, if you've seen him as well. He takes it very, very serious. And this is what he said, I think yesterday when he was announced. He said, the way that I'm sort of, fundamentally like positioning myself in terms of my own ways and stuff, and the way that he views football is why he made the jump to come to Chelsea. It's because it keeps him on his toes and he feels like he has a lot still to offer as well. And if you go on what we saw last season with him, I think it's a big tick in the right place for me, especially when we need to change things up and we need something a little bit different that can have the impact. So for me, it's an impact side of Welbeck. With Henderson, I think it's more about grabbing the core of these players and putting them aside. When we lose 1-0 at a tough game away to Arsenal and all the heads drop and the players are, out sulking and doing whatever they're doing, you have Henderson. And I think if you look at the Jude Bellingham and Rodgers interview, the England interview that they did, where they spoke specifically about how important Henderson is to England, not so much on the pitch but off the pitch. It was just, he has the understanding, right? We're talking about a man that's won things, he knows how to win things. He was a big important part of Liverpool when they won their Premier League, which was a very long time for them as well. This is a guy that understands what it takes to play at the highest level and stay there. So it's not so much about what he's going to bring quality-wise on the pitch, because even though I think he can come on the pitch, 20 minutes left, we're winning 2-1, maybe lost control of the game, want to just tighten up the midfield, he's got the legs to come on. And if you look at the stats from him from a sort of a distance covered point, I think he's at 12 kilometres, which is in the sort of higher ends of where the top midfielders are in the Premier League at the moment. So he will give you a lot of energy if you need him for different reasons. But in terms of what he can bring off the pitch, I think it's like sorting out the Fofanas, right? How they've been last season, very sulky, very miserable, this, that and the other. Sorting out just certain individuals in the group that need a little bit of a slap in the back of the ear sometimes. So that's what I look at him as, someone to help Xabi Alonso get that message across. Because yes, it's important that it all comes from Xabi Alonso, but sometimes being on the side and then being on the pitch is 2 different things, right? And I think if you could bring him on a bit later where we're struggling, we've lost control, they're looking around, the players are looking around, who are we looking to? And we've seen it last season and the seasons before where we just capitulate. Look at the Burnley game last season, we're 1-0 up, we brought 7 defenders on the pitch and concede from a corner just because we're not organised. Like, these are the things that are real big problems, and I think someone like Henderson will drive to make sure that we get across the line, and that's why I think that it's important that we have them for that.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Jim, and I think it's not only the impact that they're going to have on the pitch, but off the pitch, in the dressing room. before a game, after a game, and also in the training, and especially for Hendo. I think Hendo will provide a lot of support to Xavi with these players. So yeah, initially when the whole Hendo thing came up, I was thinking, is it a good one? Is there really a lot of positives? The more I deep it, the more I think about it, and the more the points about the lads in the English team and how they perceive him and how they look up to him. If we can replicate that in the Chelsea squad, it's gonna go miles, it's gonna go wonders. But yeah, no, good feedback. Anybody else wants to jump in on this one?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Look, I don't. A lot of people are making this signing to be the worst signing that Chelsea have made. How are these veteran players are going to impact Chelsea's season? They will impact a lot. And I'll take it one after the other. I'll start from Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck has been around for quite some time now. He played alongside John Terry and all these players. Played with them. He played with these guys. So having Danny Welbeck in, it's exactly what Chelsea are looking for. It's not going to be a starter. We didn't pay too much. We didn't pay too much money on Danny Welbeck and bring him into the football club like we've done with some of these young players who are not proven enough. You get I wouldn't mention names, but anyway, Danny Welbeck. If you look at the all-time players that have impact game from the bench, Danny Welbeck, I think it has either fourth or fifth on the table. From Danny Welbeck. Demain Defoe stands on top of it with, I think, about 30 goals. Danny Welbeck comes in with, I don't know, it's about, I think about 8 goals or 18 goals. 18 goals from the bench, which is impressive. That's what we're looking for. When he comes from the pitch, it gives us different variation in terms of how we're going to play. His hold-up play is very good. In the air, is also very good. We cannot get that from Liam Delap. He can't hold on to the ball. Even playing against a team like, with all due respect, like, Sydney, Western Sydney, cannot even play against these small kids. The inexperienced team that we're playing against, he couldn't even hold on to the ball. So that is what we're going to get from Danny Welbeck when he is on the pitch. We know that this guy is very tall. He's good in the air. I've seen him score against Chelsea many times. He's good with both feet. I've seen him play with United. And was he with Arsenal? I'm not so sure if he was in Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal. Yeah. So he's a player we're looking for. We know he's not going to start. We have players that can start. And I'm sure even if the going becomes very difficult or tough, we're going to have him and Ja playing at the same time, because Ja Pedro is not a typical number 9. So that is what we lack up front. He's not all that disciplined to be up there. Sometimes the way we play the ball, we play so much passes that he find out not having the ball up there, so he drops deep to try to get into the play. But if we have to play a different way and have Danny, who will be more disciplined because he knows he's been playing that 9 role for many years, he's going to be up there. He knows crosses from the right-hand side will be coming in. Maybe Reece James will be whipping in those wicked crosses, and he's going to get onto it and score goals. So, yeah, we're going to get advantage, or he's going to be very productive to how our season goes. Yeah, Jordan Henderson. People also say, why do we need Jordan Henderson? It's not just impact on the pitch alone, but even impact on the pitch. He has more game time than Liam Delap had as a young player. I think he had even more game time than maybe I'll say one of the top strikers in the world, which is Gyökeres. I'm not comparing positions. I'm comparing game minutes on the pitch. So, yes, it is with his age, he can still put in a lot of minutes on the pitch. He can run around the pitch. He doesn't get that tired. So if you give Jordan Henderson 40 minutes, he will kill it. He will kill that minute on the pitch and be more impact. So I don't think that Chelsea are losing anything. And also off the field, sometimes in dressing room, we need players that can, besides what the manager is going to say, we need players that have done it, have been there, have worn the jersey, have been around that kind of a scenario where they can motivate the players, tell the players, because sometimes you need other players to tell what the players have to do when setting moments in the game. Because we always say sometimes these kind of games you need just a fine margin, little details to win a game. I know last season we lost many games from winning position. If you have these veterans in the team, I don't think that we will lose the game. You get what I mean? They will impose confidence into these young players, and they'll see how the game maybe 1-0, 2-1, and not to lose the game in those winning positions. So, yeah, having them, I think it's a plus. It's a plus, and people will end up, those that are criticizing the signing will end up laughing at the wrong side of their mouth by the end of next season.
Chris,
that
Matt,
anyone-
yeah.
Yeah, I think that anyone that's criticising the Jordan Henderson thing really is doing it because they're purely looking at it from the player profile. What can he offer on the pitch? How many midfielders we've already got? And with Danny Welbeck, it's a lot easier to see, isn't it? Because it's like he played a lot last season, and not only did Jordan Henderson played like 32 games last season. Do you know what I mean? But Danny Welbeck obviously scored 13 goals, which is his best ever return, actually. But I think the thing with Jordan Henderson, like, it's interesting because everyone's talking about Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers in that interview they did with England, right? And that's really, really important because they've got a little bit of experience about what it's like to have Jordan Henderson in the changing rooms. But do you know who's got the absolute best idea of what Jordan Henderson is like to have in and around a winning squad? It's Dave Fallows, which I assume is the guy that brought him, probably ID'd him after we got turned down for Granit Xhaka. Dave Fallows, he's the guy that found like Salah and Andy Robertson and a lot of the kind of low-cost guys that built up Liverpool's like title-winning and Champions League-winning squad. And Dave Fallows will have intimate knowledge about what it's like to have Jordan Henderson around a winning team and like how conducive his off-field thing, as well as his on-field thing at the time, obviously. But the off-field thing is conducive to creating a winning mentality, and I think that's so important. Like, I don't, people are saying stuff like, "Oh, why don't you just bring him on as a coach?" And it's like, because you need that connection to the team. Do you know what I mean? Like when the guys are training and stuff, you need someone on that. That's why Xabi Alonso wanted Granit Xhaka, who probably would have been ideal because that would have been more of a Danny Welbeck situation where it's easier to see what he brings to the pitch as well as all of these intangible things. But we need these intangible things. Do you know what I mean? That's so important. All of the red cards last season, like, Nee was saying, not being able to hold on at the end in games and stuff as well. So anyone that's annoyed about Jordan Henderson will probably still be annoyed even when we're doing well because we're not going to see what Jordan Henderson brings to the table because it's probably most of it is going to happen behind closed doors. But I, for one, think it's a fantastic signing. Danny Welbeck as well. I'm here for it. A journeyman, absolutely love that. And like I say, it's a lot easier to identify what Danny Welbeck brings to the squad when you think about Liam Delap and Mark Gue and having to play Pedro Neto as a striker over the last few years and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be great to have a guy who is not also, because one of the problems with a Liam Delap is whenever Liam Delap comes on, his mentality is, I have to prove myself right now and prove myself to the manager, and I have to prove that I'm good enough to develop and get into this squad and increase my career. But Danny Welbeck, you bring him on and he's just like, yeah, I'm just here to play ball, man. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just here to do what I do. He's not thinking about his future. His future is happening right now because he's in the twilight of his career. So, I think it's going to be so useful having both of these guys. But in particular, I'm interested to see the mentality side that Jordan Henderson kind of bring. It'll be interesting to see, for instance, what was it when Jude Bellingham scored one of the goals in the World Cup? The first person he ran over to was Jordan Henderson. I'm interested to see if we can see some moments like that on the pitch where we can see that Jordan Henderson is developing relationships with these players and making them feel important, but also being a massive aid to Xabi Alonso in order to get, because Xabi Alonso doesn't talk about the squad being young, but he has mentioned a few times about maturity being really important. So yeah, I'm here for both of them, man. I think I'll be interested to find out what the average age of our squad's going to be if we get Pep Chaverria as well, because it's been like 22, 23 for the last few years. Maybe we're like a cheeky 26 now.
Yeah, no, spot on. Chris, anything you want to say in regards to these two?
Yeah, I mean, with Danny Welbeck, I think that if you was telling the Chelsea fans that you were going for maybe a 28, 29 or 30-year-old hot striker, you didn't get them, and then you go and get Danny Welbeck, I think people would have the same reaction as to what we did with not getting Granit Xhaka and then getting Jordan Henderson. But I think, the reason why people are also happy with Danny Welbeck is because, scoring goals gets you noticed. Scoring goals, tells whether you're a good, bad, or whatever player to some football fans. There's some people like maybe us and a lot of other people that watch more than just the goals. We see their movement. They see, how they are on the pitch and how they, how they help their team out. And Jordan Henderson is going to be a massive part of that. And also, people have said you can't ignore the fact that he's played 32 games and 22 of those starting, outrun every single Chelsea player last season. I think he's going to be utilised more than what people think. And I think that he's going to be a very, very good signing. I really do.
Cheers, thank you. Yeah, a lot of positivity, a lot of positive perspectives in regards to these two lads. So we welcome them to Chelsea. Danny Welbeck was already unveiled today. I'm thinking Henderson probably tomorrow. Now, talking about us moving forward and talking about next season, Chalobah is potentially going to Como. Como have been interested in Chalobah for quite some time. A couple of bids came in, nothing really materialised, but we were actually expecting to get a here we go today for Trevor Chalobah. It may still come in while we're on the air, if not probably tomorrow. But Como have come in again for Chalobah, have improved their bid, and the difference wasn't that much in regards to what Chelsea wanted, what Como were offering. So I think they've worked something out. But in regards to our centre-back positions and the players that are potentially going to be on the way out, Badishile, Disasi, and others. What are we expecting to see from XABI Alonso next season in regards to his formation? Because a lot of people are saying he likes the 3 at the back, the 5 at the back, but he's played 4 at the back predominantly in the pre-season, and it looks like we're shaping in that manner. What do you guys think we should expect next season in regards to our back line?
Mostly a back three.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I think mostly a back three. I think, after bringing in Palestra, we've seen that he's very, very good at going forward. He likes to join the press. Pep Chaverria, which I know we're going to get into, is exactly the same profile. So I think that's going to be his more predominant formation with a 3 at the back. I think you could do that with Levi Colwell, Maxence Lacroix, maybe Reece James. But I think with the centre-back position, I think he's going to want that circle of centre-backs very, very small. Obviously, we have got limited games, I understand, but he's going to want players that he can trust. But I think the 2 wing backs predominantly tell me that we're going to be going with a back 3. But obviously, we do have the option of a back 4 with maybe Reece, Maxence Lacroix, Levi Colwell, João Hato, maybe Pep Chaverria. So there's options there for that as well. But I think with these 2 signings in Palestra and Chaverria, it's going to be a back 3.
I think it's both at the same time, man. And I think it's weird that we don't talk about this a lot, but Chelsea have been playing a back 3 for the last 2 years. This isn't new. This isn't a change. Do you know what I mean? It's like from when Maresca came in, we start with a back 4.
Ever
since Pochettino, really, to be completely honest, because Pochettino kind of started us off with the inverted midfielder thing. The difference is going to be we're not going to invert fullbacks into midfield. We're going to push them high to be wing backs, but we'll start in a 4, which we have been doing. Like all of our preseason games have started a 4 at the back. But if you look at the Tottenham game, I know it didn't go well the other day, but it's basically a back 3. You've got João Hato is not driving forward. Do you know what I mean? It's not happening. You've got João Hato, we had Fofana and a Champong, was it? Can't remember. Levi Colwell, sorry. Basically playing in a back 3. And then you've got Marco Palestra, just bombing up. I think the whole thing with XABI Alonso's football is it's not about the formation, it's about the fundamentals. Do you know what I mean? It's about the fundamentals. The fundamentals are possession-based football, high press, allowing players to react dynamically, like attacking players specifically to react dynamically to what's going on in the game. And doing that gives you so much flexibility. Like you can start a João Hato on the left back and a Palestra, and you can push Palestra up to become a wing back and the guys tuck in. You can start a Reece James on the right and a Chaverria on the left, and you can do the same thing on the other side. You can start in a back 3 with 2 wing backs just going for it if you want, or you can start in a back 4 with a bit more of a conservative defensive game if you're expecting to play a team that's going to be coming at you like Andoni Iraola's Liverpool, that are going to be playing his classic basketball style football, for instance. So the truth of the fact is, man, it's both. I think it's both at the same time. I don't necessarily expect us to always see us line up in one formation or other, and I don't expect it to be like Pep Guardiola, for instance, who puts the same, Pep Guardiola is, this is my 11, this is my current set of tactics. We take that to the opponent and we demolish them with it. XABI Alonso seems to be a lot more like willing to adapt, kind of like how Maresca did, in the big games. That was the whole thing with Maresca, wasn't it? It's like he'd adapt to the big teams. I think XABI Alonso is going to be a bit like that, but he likes to utilise width. and he likes to play with kind of 3 centre backs to allow people to get forward a bit more.
I agree with the boys on their comments, to be fair. Just quickly want to add to that, because I agree from a system standpoint. I don't really need to say much more about that. I think they've said what I would have said anyway. But I think the other thing that's quite important about Xabi Alonso, and I always look at like the invincibles that he done with Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, is about it's the connections and chemistries on the pitch. It's like he concentrates more about the individuals and how they're positioned and where they are off the ball than on the ball as well, and then tallying and seeing how we can transition from defense to attack quickly. Because if you look at the Tottenham game, even more so Western Sydney game too, even though it was a younger bunch of players, the Tottenham game was high press, right? We forced them into mistakes, and that's how we had the opportunities that we had. With the Western Sydney game, it was more about how quickly can we play the balls into the pockets and then play the balls out to the wings and get ourselves transitioning very quick. So I think there has to be a flow, and I think that flow has to come from the right players. And I think this is why profile, in my opinion, is so important for a manager like Alonso. If he doesn't have the right profiles in what it is that he is trying to do, like the boys just said earlier, then obviously, like any manager, it's going to be very hard to sustain and show like that consistency that we need to see throughout a season, especially domestically, to turn up every single week and be able to play at the level we need to play. I think you look at Palestra, Esteban, and you look at Palmer's position and how them three have been playing between them. I think there's a good example of there already that if Palestra, who is your fullback, by the way, goes behind the defence, which usually is your winger in Esteval, making them runs in behind, then Esteval would then drop deep to wait until Palestra receives the ball for him to then cut it back to either Esteval and Palmer. And it's about the positions they find themselves in and the rhythms. And the same slightly on the left. I think the left we're going to see more of when Morgan Rogers comes in, because I want to see what the idea is with him. I think he'll be more of a carrier, which means he'll attract players naturally to the ball, and that will create natural space on the pitch. And that's why someone like Pep Chaverria makes sense, because as a natural left wing back, full back, he's comfortable going forward. He's right defensively, but more comfortable going forward, and he has a bit of output as well. So I think for him, it's about having the balance of the all-round squad and the chemistries and connections that you need to make it work.
Yes, spot on, Jim. I think the overlap is going to be crucial, especially with the caliber of players that we've got in, both for Palestra and Chaverria. Chaverria, I've seen clips, I've seen some compilations. I haven't really seen much of him, but what I have seen, he does seem to be a flair player, a skillful player, great moving forward. My concern is, the gaps and the space that he'll leave behind him. So, he's reminiscent of another Spanish winger that we had, Marcos Alonso. Great going forward, but when it comes to the defensive aspects, not so great. But yeah, we'll talk about Pep in just a second.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I'd pick you up on that statistically, but we'll come to that.
We'll come to Pep in a second. Let me
Mo, just one really quick thing. Live on the Blue Lounge, I've just hit 5k subs.
Yo, congrats. Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Congrats, Matt.
That is amazing. Well done, Matt. Well done. Really, really good. And guys, everyone on this panel, their link is in the description right now. So if you're wondering where to find their content as you're watching them right now, go in the description. There's a link to every person on this panel in the description down below. So make sure you guys go and share the love to everyone. Subscribe to their channels. Great content from everyone here. And Matt, congrats, brother. Really happy for you. I know how much hard work you put in, how much effort you put in, how much time you've spent on doing this. So congratulations, brother. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, train of thought is gone down the toilet.
Sorry.
No, it's worth it. It's worth it. Sadiq, your thoughts on the whole centre back situation? Because I know you and Jem are a little bit short on time, so let's listen to you.
Yeah, I'll probably say this point and let Max on. Max, if you're watching, big up to you, man. But yeah, I feel for Chalobah at the same time. I know you mentioned about Chalobah to Como. He's been through a lot. The way we recalled him over the last few years as well, how we treated him. I just felt like he deserved a bit more respect. I don't think he got the respect from Chelsea. And I know business is it's a difficult world. What happens. But yeah, in general, three at the back is expected. We're going to be having those wing backs running down the wing, and I think obviously one game a week it will suit us. I don't think we'll have that fatigue issue. I'm sure we'll have the rotation of the squad depth as well at the same time. But I really hope just Xabi Alonso gets everything his way. Basically, that's all we want to see right now for this season. And I hope fans in general, after seeing maybe 3 to 5 wins in a row, or a couple wins, they don't think that we're officially back and that we're going to be challenging immediately. I hope we take it one game at a time, and not react too much and too quickly.
Yeah, yeah, no, and you know what? A new manager coming in, he is going to be trying out different things. So I agree. I think it was Chris who said it, or might have been Matt who said it. We're going to see a mixture of both. 3 at the back and 4 at the back. I think he will be trying out new things. He'll be trying out different things as he's getting to know the squad, the players, their style, the way they're able to play. So yeah, definitely going to see some big things next season. I'm conscious of time for both Sadiq and for Jem. Before I let the lads go, I want to give a big shout out to Kings of the Bridge. I see a lot of comments in the chat. We have got a lot of people on here from the Kings of the Bridge channel. So big up to Jem, big up to Chris, who I also know is a big part of that channel, and also to Matt in the chat. Let me give Jem a moment to give us his thoughts and opinions before I let him go.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Firstly, I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to be on this channel. Make sure everyone's following, even if you are from Kings of the Bridge or not. Make sure, guys, you're following this channel and supporting this channel, but not just Mo, but supporting all these boys that are here at the moment. Give them all a follow, show the love, spread the love. That's the most important thing that I think us as Chelsea content creators do, is bringing our communities together and everyone sort of sharing the love, which is, I think, is a very important thing to do. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it ends. I did do a video earlier about the goalkeeper and Sanchez. I won't go in much to it, but I would like to see that area sorted, Mo. I'm not sure if that's going to happen before the end of the window, but I think secondly, the most important thing after that is making sure that we get these outgoings sorted, mate, because 10 centre-backs, I know Chalobah's on his way out, Delap, Omega, Jackson, there's just so much to be done still. And I think we've got a really exciting August. We've got a very, very exciting August. Yeah, and you got to think, I think we can only have 9 subs as well. So how are we putting all these players on the bench as well? So Xabi Alonso's got a lot of work to do, mate. But thank you again for having me on. I appreciate it.
Much love, much respect, Jem, and it's a pleasure to have you back on, and hopefully we'll see more of you.
Yes, take care, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
See you, Jem.
See you later.
Worldwide Chelsea, Sadiq, I know you got to go, so let me get your final thoughts, brother, before I let you go.
Yeah, listen, big up everyone that's been supporting and locked in the channel. I've seen massive production increase on here. I've seen the socials. I've seen it all. Blue Lounge. Big up to you. Big up the panels as well. Big up Matt, 5K, Nee, and obviously the new panelists that I've just met today as well. I hope all you guys, Chris, sorry, apologies. Hope you guys all, continue, man. Obviously I'm way behind, but Mo, we've got big plans. Let me settle. 100%. Yeah. But I'm watching everyone. From now. So that's the most important thing. I hope, things continue. Obviously, with Chelsea needs coming left, right, centre, it's giving everyone the opportunity to push again, which is the most important thing. So, yeah, thank you for having me on. Apologies, I haven't been on for a while, and apologies, it's only an hour. And Kai, if you're watching this, let me know if you're growing your hair still. That's what I want to know. But I'll leave you guys there.
Next stream, hopefully we'll get you and Kai on the show together. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks, big up to you, and thank you for making time. I know you got a mad busy schedule, so thank you for making
I appreciate
the time.
It, man.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Take care, mate.
Max, if you're still watching, 1 second, and then there were 3, 4, yeah. Hopefully we've got one more coming on. So we've got the Blue Bridge waiting to jump on. So hopefully they'll be able to jump on. If you're watching, Max, please, we have the spot. All right. Did I get the thoughts of everyone? No. Nee, in regards to the centre back situation, we didn't hear from you.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about. Not really worried. Skeptical. I'll use the word skeptical about the back three. The back three. I'm just a bit worried playing against uh, high tempo teams when especially the midfield. In the last two games, I saw a few mistakes. I know if maybe Enzo or Calcedo is in that position, they wouldn't make those mistakes. That when those mistakes happen, it highly it can result into goals. But with a back four, I wouldn't have a problem. Maybe 4-3-3. I don't know with that, but it depends. I don't. To me, I don't see him playing a lot of the back three. I know he will start with it, constantly playing back three. Like Matt said, we start with four and then we switch back to a back three. I think that things will change a little bit depending on how the players react to the formation. That's besides that, I don't really have a problem with that. I believe that he's been playing that he knows the ins and outs of that formation and he can get the best out of it. But I don't know how it really works that much in the Premier League. It's only one manager that has been successful in the Premier League with playing the back three to win the Premier League, which is Antonio Conte. He has one wonderful Xabi Alonso, just like you mentioned. Alonso in the 18 is just like a Drogba in the 18. He'll definitely score a goal for you. But I don't know how things will go. But hopefully, whatever formation he plays, hopefully learn from it and then he becomes successful. That's all.
All right, brilliant. We have Max Burton on from Blue Bridge. Max, welcome. How are you, brother?
Hey guys, yeah, all good. Thank you from me. Yeah, result yesterday wasn't great, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Preseason.
We're avoiding that topic. We're not talking about that. That's not worthy of the discussion. It's a friendly preseason. It's not important. Leave it.
It is. But it's Tottenham. I don't care. If there's five aside, you want to beat Tottenham, but still.
That's why it's not important, because if the result went the other way, we'd be talking about it for the whole stream. But just leave it for now. Leave it for now. Big up to you, Max. Thank you for jumping on. Anyone else want to add anything in regards to the centre back situation? Max, let me fill you in just in case you missed it. Chalobah is going to Como. Is Xavi Alonso going to play a back three, a back five, a back four? Thoughts on regards to how we're going to address the defensive situation moving forward? I think I got everyone's input. If I haven't, apologies. But yeah, Max, let me hear your thoughts on this one.
Pre-season he started off with 4, hasn't he? So
yeah,
it looks like he may start with a 4. But I think I heard someone earlier talking about our 2 purchases of sort of wing back, like Pep and Palestra. They are your typical wing back style footballers. So that he probably is going to look towards playing a 5. And if you look, Morgan Rogers is more for 10, isn't he, as well? So he may go with a double 10 with Rogers and Palmer at times. So there's the flexibility to go 3 or 3 at the back or 4. And I suppose it depends on the opposition that we're playing. So he wants players who are flexible, who can play in multiple positions. So I think he'll start maybe with a 4, but again, depending on the opposition, he may then play a 3 at the back.
All right, thank you. I want to digress a little bit. We're still talking about defenders, but we're talking about Pep Chaverria. So again, a player that Xavi Alonso wants, a player that Xavi Alonso has been pushing for quite assertively. However, Chelsea have put in reasonable offers. Rayo Vallecano have been insisting on a mad fee. However, it does look like a breakthrough has happened. Fabrizio Romano hasn't indicated as such as of yesterday. He has put one of his tweets with the eyes and the thing, and indicating that something is about to happen. So again, another transfer that can potentially be on the horizon very, very soon. We touched on his style a little bit. I know, like I said, Kings of the Bridge covered this quite quite extensively in their live stream today. I know Matt has also produced a video on this as well. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on his ability to play in the Premier League. What value is he going to add? He is in his prime. Is there really a lot that we can be expecting from him? Or is he going to be playing second fiddle to Joel Hato? I want to hear what you guys are thinking in regards to Pep Chaverria.
I think this idea that he's this kind of high-flying wing-back is unsubstantiated for the most part, because he played as a left-back in a back four for Rayo Vallecano for the majority. So he will be able to play that wing-back role. But he's more of a Lewis Hall than a Marcos Alonso. He's actually more defence first. So I did a comparison between him and Marc Cucurella's last season. Bearing in mind, Marc Cucurella wasn't great for a lot last season, of course. But stylistically, where it comes out is Marc Cucurella is a much better passer. But bar one defensive metric, Pep Chaverria beat out Marc Cucurella in every single defensive metric. And that metric was aerial duels, actually. I think he's actually an inch shorter than Marc Cucurella as well, so he's not a big guy. So the only thing you're not getting defensively from Pep Chaverria is aerial duels, but he is actually a tidy defender for the most part. Not mind blowing. Obviously, we've only paid 20 mil for the guy, but this idea that he's like the equivalent of Marco Palestra just isn't true, like at all. You get Pep Chaverria to be able to play high and wide and be comfortable there for the most part, but he's not going to be anywhere near as attacking as Marco Palestra is. So I think you get in an experienced option who has been around the game for a while. Xabi Alonso has obviously identified him. And as well, an interesting thing is if you go back to the Bayer Leverkusen team, which is the point of reference really, isn't it? Because that was his most successful time so far. The way he played his wing-backs was he always had one playing more defensive and one playing more attacking. Jeremy Frimpong classically was the one that was going forward a lot more and getting involved, which is probably what you're going to see from Marco Palestra. Alejandro Grimaldo was actually the more defensive one, albeit his GA is outrageous. Like, Grimaldo was nuts, man, but a lot of it was like free kicks and dead balls, and do you know what I mean? You know, he wasn't necessarily bombing forward, and also Grimaldo was 28 when Xabi Alonso took over. So I'm not expecting to see the same dead ball kind of thing from Chaverria that he got from Grimaldo. But in terms of how he uses the player, it's more about balance than adding more to the attack, I think.
Fair enough. Anyone else want to jump on this one?
Yeah, I think with Pep Chaverria, from what I've seen, I don't think a lot of Chelsea fans probably saw a lot of him, to be honest with you. I mean, if you go back and watch Crystal Palace against Rayo Vallecano, you would have seen him then, probably without even realising. But he's an ankle biter. He loves to get on your back. He loves the 1v1s. Obviously, he done very well against Yamal. He's got a very, very good left foot on him, actually. He can take a very good shot as well. And I think Max is absolutely right. I think predominantly, and from what we've seen so far, I'm not against it at all. Palestra and Esteval teaming up on that right-hand side. Absolutely. And Pep Chaverria will be more of a left back. But from what I've seen as well, he doesn't mind getting up. My only issue is going to be if he's going to leave space in behind him. Who's going to fill that gap? That's where we're going to need the leaders to organise that type of thing as we're moving through a game. So I'm thinking that if he is going forward, of course, Caicedo's going to think, right, space there, I need to get into that just in case something comes from an attack. But I think Pep Chaverria is going to surprise a lot of Chelsea fans. And I think that people are going to, take to him a lot like Marco Palestra, because I think a lot of Chelsea fans have actually been quite pleased with what they've seen from Palestra. But with Pep Chaverria, I think he'll be a bridge favourite. I really do.
Yep. Nee?
Yeah, I think it's a good player. It's a good player in him, but most of the time, I've learned a lot from the past players and players that are coming from other league into our league. I've learned a lot until I see about 13 games from them. I won't be overhyped, or I won't be. I don't want to get carried away. I mean, besides what they play, the way they play in the Premier. I mean, in the Spanish league or the various league, it looks so impressive. We saw Timo Werner, who could score goals from everywhere. We saw Kai Havertz scoring goals from everywhere in the Bundesliga. So I just want to see a few games of them in the Premier League. Then I can know what to expect really from them in the league. But besides that, all that I see is just some highlights, and I haven't seen the full game of any of these players. Full game, no, besides those that played in the World Cup. But a little bit of them in the World Cup. But in the league, it's going to be a different game. You'll be meeting players like Doku, the top wingers and attackers in the league. So I just want to see more of them. I'll say more when I watch their games in the Premier League. Besides that, yeah, good players.
Yeah, I mean, this comment here from Papa Chels. So Papa Chels is a Chelsea fan, but also an Atletico Madrid fan. So she watches a lot of football in La Liga. Yeah, and she rates him. She rates him quite highly as well. So, Max, anything you want to add in regards to Chaverria?
Yeah, a bit like me. I am not going to put my hand up and say I know everything about this player, because when his name was mentioned, I kind of had to sort of look at some clips of him. So it's clips. Anyone could look good on a few YouTube clips. I can make myself look good and sellable. But I need to see him in a full 90-minute game. From what I saw from the little clips, he does look like he loves defending. He loves duels and one-on-one duels. And I
Yeah.
agree. Sorry, I don't quite know all the names at the moment. Here's a guy who's speaking
Chris.
before with the glasses. What's your name? Sorry.
Oh,
Matt.
me.
Matt.
Matt. Oh, Matt. So Matt. So I'll remember his name. Yeah. So I did see something as well about him being more defensive-minded and going up and attacking. The little bits I've seen as well is that he can overlap. He can beat a man, and so he's got that part of this game. He can go on the outside, which I'd like to see a bit more from our fullbacks. I want to get rid of this inverted stuff and allow our wingers to be able to play as wingers by having these overlapping fullbacks to help them as well. But as Nee said, only time will tell. When he plays a few games in the Premier League, we'll get a better feel of what he's got to offer. But I trust our manager, because he's obviously a Spanish guy. He watches a lot of Spanish football, and if Alonso's saying that this is a player that he needs for that role, then I will trust him, because I believe that he knows what he's doing better than I do. So yeah, we'll see.
Talking about making you look good on a YouTube video, for me it would be a YouTube short, because I can't do I love watching football, but I'm not the best at playing it. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Sorry, 1 second. What happened to the screens? Here we go. All right, so I want to discuss actually Mudryk or Sanchez. What do you guys want to do next?
Let's talk the one who's more trending. Mudryk is more trending.
You want to do Mudryk? Let's do Mudryk. We'll leave Sanchez to the end. All right, so Mykhailo Mudryk, he is back. He is back, and I have seen a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy being put in on social media from the fan base in regards to people being really happy, really excited to have him back. I, for one, I'm glad that his situation has been resolved in a way that allows him to continue his career, allows him to continue his career with Chelsea Football Club. Was it the right decision at the time? Was it, did he know did he knew what he was doing? All that is put behind us now. We're moving forward. In regards to Mykhailo Mudryk, is he actually going to add value? Is he someone that can come in and hit the ground running? He hasn't played football in about 2 years. Yes, he's been training. He's been trying to maintain fitness, but I think Chris said this on the Kings of the Bridge stream earlier. Being fit is one thing. Being match fit is something totally different. So having him back in the squad, what are we expecting? Are we expecting him to get into the team? Are we expecting him to be loaned out? What do you guys stand? Where do you guys stand in regards to Mykhailo Mudryk being back in the Chelsea squad? And by the way, he should be arriving tomorrow with the squad for preseason in Tokyo, I believe. So take it away, Nee. Take it away.
Look, Mudryk is a player who has been very, very unfortunate. I think that there should be a rule, there should be a law that if you wrongly convict someone of anti-doping, you're supposed to compensate the player when it comes out that he's not or he did not do anything of that sort. There should
He was
be.
not convicted. He was correctly convicted, but they've changed the law around the thing
They've
that he was
changed
convicted of, which is why he's been allowed back in. So
Yeah.
he wasn't wrongly convicted at the time.
Oh, but from what I was reading, they said that
Is it
if
sorry,
now
is it Hong
not
Kong or is
this-
it Tokyo? Are they in Hong Kong or Tokyo?
Hong Kong.
Tokyo.
Hong
Kong.
Kong,
Oh.
that's where he's going.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, from what I read, they said if they have to do the sample now, he wouldn't have been convicted, or he wouldn't have had any of these situations. So I was like, so what had really
Yeah,
changed?
But nee,
So yeah,
that was because it's sometimes things are added to the list of banned substances. Sometimes things are, once they do some testing, they say, okay, this isn't enough for it to be on the
Right.
list. So they've removed this substance from the list. So had he been tested now for the same substance, then yeah, but
It wouldn't be.
they've probably
Okay.
they decided it wasn't a performance enhancing drug, so they've taken it off the list.
All right. So I just go back to where I just said that he's been very, very unfortunate as playing 73 games and scoring 10 goals, if I can remember, 10 goals for Chelsea during his time with the club, very active. Look, I never had a doubt that he can go on to be a very good player. He was still struggling. He was still in the early stages of his career at Chelsea. He was trying to get there. Then, boom, this news came. I don't have a doubt that, because the reason why I'm saying that he can go on and become he can improve and become better for Chelsea on that left-hand side. Why? Because during XABI Alonso's time at Bayer Leverkusen, he recommended that Bayer Leverkusen should go for this player for him. He needed him. He wanted him. But Chelsea, Chelsea's pedigree had that muscle power, finances, and then went in for him. But I believe that XABI knows why he wanted him, and he's the only one I believe that can get the best out of him and get him playing back, playing football again. I don't think he's been, he has and I know he hasn't played high-profile games. Definitely, there'll be a little bit of rustiness in him, but this is the right time for him to get back again. He's been individual training. It's not training from physios like our physios. I know he has his own people that help him train each and every day. But then I believe that he's still got unfinished business with Chelsea. Chelsea can still get the best out of him. Having him with what we have last season would have been better choice for us on that left-hand side if he was around, to be honest with you. So him coming back definitely is
better than Garnacho.
Yeah, definitely better than Garnacho what we saw from Garnacho last season. He would have been much better than Garnacho last season based on his performance. But I'm not saying he is.
I'm just saying to the chat, if you know, you know, because the
Yeah.
looking like if you know, you know.
I know where you're
Carry on,
coming from. I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. That's what I'm telling you. It would have been better than what Garnacho put in last season. But Alejandro Garnacho is not a bad player.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Based on what?
What do you mean?
So you're saying that Mykhailo Mudryk's better than Garnacho was last season?
I said he would have been. I use the word he would have been better than Garnacho, what he provided for us last season. If he was part of the squad.
His previous form, his previous I get
So
that. I get that.
at 22 years old, in the Premier League, in 41 appearances, Mudryk got 7 goals and 2 assists in all competitions, actually. So 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 GA, 41 appearances. Last season, at 22, in all competitions.
He had 2 goals. He had 10 goals in total for Chelsea since he's been there. 10 goals.
Yeah. And Garnacho got 8 in 43 appearances and 4 assists. So at the same age, with a more difficult competition, because the thing is, Mykhailo Mudryk's 3 other goals after the 7 that he got in the previous season were all in the Conference League against teams that none of us had ever seen before. So look, this isn't me saying that Garnacho was good. Like this, I find this weird about Mudryk, the revisionism, right? We're all really happy to see Garnacho out the door. I think that's generally widely, the majority of us are like, okay, cool, he wasn't good enough for the squad, and I agree with that. I think we needed to upgrade on Garnacho. So I find this narrative that Mudryk's better or going to come in and do a better job wild, because he did absolutely nothing to prove that was the case, and he had a lot more time to do so as well, because he had almost 2 seasons. And 13 appearances in the season before he got banned, 41 appearances. So even if you discount the one before that, Garnacho still pretty much betters him in less games, and I don't think Garnacho was good enough. So I'm not convinced that. And the big thing is the match fitness, right? You know, like Jem said, it's one thing being fit and being match fit is completely different. I think it screams loan. I think he trains with the team a little bit and gets himself a loan and goes and plays some football, and then we can value him. I think the other really interesting thing about Mudryk is when Chelsea declared that massive 300 million loss, which everyone lost their heads about because it was the biggest loss ever declared by a club financially, that was including writing off Raheem Sterling and Mykhailo Mudryk. So there's some sort of assumption that
Matt,
Mykhailo Mudryk is
sorry to interrupt you, but did you double check that? Did you get that confirmed? Because I still haven't checked it.
I found nothing to confirm or deny it at the moment,
Right,
but
okay.
that was, we know that was true with Sterling. So
Yes,
there's potential there that Mykhailo Mudryk is also a pure profit asset. So loaning him out to see if he can be good enough to either get into the team or get sold on again just seems like the best thing to do. But in terms of him getting into the squad, like, for me, he never did anything to show that, you know, I wanted him to be good. You know, it's nothing personal at all, and I'm really, really happy for him to be able to be playing football again. It's absolutely nothing like that. But I just think it's wild that so many Chelsea fans are like, oh yeah, Mudryk's coming back, but we're also in the same breath, we're so happy to see Garnacho out the door after he had a better season. So I just think that's a weird one.
See, this where I disagree with the submission of trying to compare Garnacho and Garnacho and Mudryk, saying he's probably better than what Mudryk performed. This way, if people know me very well, I'm the one person that I've defended Garnacho from the time he came in to the time he left. Look, the reason why I would say that Mudryk was much better, will be much better, not worse, will be much better if he was here, is considering the number of years Alejandro Garnacho has spent in the Premier League and was able to get an opportunity to play for Chelsea and perform that badly in this first season for Chelsea. That's why I'm saying if Mudryk was here in his first season, we saw what he can do, and number of goals he scored and appearances. If he has gone on to have another more season, he would have been better because he was improving. He was improving and playing under different managers. He would have been better playing for us than what we saw from Garnacho. But it doesn't mean Garnacho is a bad player. I even put a scenario that he went through different managers. One manager who did not help him at all, did not help improve any of our young players that he had for the past whatever months he was there before he was being sacked, which was Liam Rosinia. That's what I'm saying, that his performance and being there, knowing the Premier League and what he performed for us for in the Champions League and the Premier League was not good enough compared to if we have had Mudryk. That is where I was coming from.
Is there a bit of nostalgia here? You know, Max. Just address this. Is there a bit of nostalgia here in regards to, you know, him being treated in a potentially a harsh way? You know, being young, being you know, on the verge of breaking out as a top talent in European football.
Is it Garnacho you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Mudryk.
Okay.
So, is there a bit of that in the fan base? Do you reckon?
No, I think what it is, I think in the fan base, because Mudryk is a bit more aesthetically pleasing, isn't he? He can do that little step over or that little bit of skill a bit better. Mudryk, because if you look at Garnacho, he's more sort of kick and run, cut the ball back. He can't beat his man one-on-one, whereas Mudryk can do a bit of that. But the issue with Mudryk was that even Lampard mentioned it when Lampard came in. He just said, this is a player, obviously he's like one of the street baller who got all the skills, but he hasn't been coached properly. That's what he said, and you can see there's a player there who just needs the right sort of coaching and direction. Because if you look, he had all. When you look at him skillfully, he's got everything in his locker. But football's not only just about the skill, and a lot of our fan base, especially the younger ones, they always just getting so carried away because someone's done a nutmeg or done a dribble or something like that. But when you're looking at football from a coaching point of view, it's more than that. It's more than just the nice parts of the game, and that's where our fan base has been a little bit duped. Because I do agree with Matt he does look pleasing on the eye, but again, there's still aspects of his game, blind runs and not doing the right thing, which in a way I think this has been really bad for him. This because he's missed 2 years of coaching. He didn't really get coached properly as when he was younger, and he's missed another 2 years of coaching. So in his game, which if he had a good manager who could have coached him, there could have been a player in there. I can't see him staying at the club. When I say staying, for this season, he'll probably go out on loan because match fitness and training on your own two totally different things. And so maybe playing in a lesser league, probably loaning out to Strasbourg or somewhere to get his match fitness up, see how he gets on, see what we do with him, whether we keep him or sell him on. But that poses another problem as well, in that we know because of the loan spaces we're only allowed a limited amount of loan spaces. Was he factored in for one of those loan spots from the club? And that's another issue. But yeah, so for me, I can't see him staying with us this season. I could be wrong. I could more likely see him going out on loan, coming back the season after, if he shows that he's still got it.
Before I bring Chris in on this, I just want to say I love the light you have on your TV. It is perfect for the theme of the stream, man. It's just, you see it?
Yeah. It's glowing, isn't it? It is glowing on the screen, right? It's actually not glowing. It's just to reflect on it. But you know what? I'll keep it anyway. So, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
just
Go
quickly
ahead.
on Mykhailo Mudryk, because I know we've got to move on. But Mykhailo Mudryk on his debut against Liverpool sold us dreams, didn't he? We thought that maybe that was the answer to our Eden Hazard. But I do remember being in those early stages and being very, very angry with Mykhailo Mudryk and annoyed during games, just like I was with Alejandro Garnacho. But I think that when you compare him to Alejandro Garnacho from a viewing point, as Max said, he is aesthetically pleasing, but I cannot see him staying in the Chelsea first team this season. I think that they have pushed Gittins quite a bit this pre-season, with interviews talking him game time. He's improving, he's ready. And also we've got Morgan Rogers, which can occupy that as well. I think Max is right. I think it's going to be a loan to Strasbourg. Why? Because it's the easiest loan to do. Again, we got a question about whether we have got the loan spots for that. Maybe even look at it until January. Loan him until January. See how he gets on over there, getting his fitness up, and then we go from there, because you never know. Gittins might become injured, or he might just absolutely be not very good again this season. And then XABI Alonso might want to say, well, Mykhailo Mudryk is doing very well over in France. Let's bring him over and see if I can work with him and integrate him. But also, we'll say about Mykhailo Mudryk before we move on, pretty much the same with Alejandro Garnacho. These guys have come into Chelsea. It's not easy being a young guy coming into Chelsea in the chaos that we have come into. I mean, Mykhailo Mudryk came in. I mean, there were so many different managers. They had to build a different stadium for the changing rooms. It was just, there were so many players in and out. It must have been a very uncomfortable time to come to a new country, new league, new teammates, new managers. I don't think that helped him at all. I think he was just starting to find his feet a little bit. Getting confidence during the Conference League, and unfortunately what happened to him happened. But I do wish he goes on loan, and I hope that we can see something of Mykhailo Mudryk, back again to what he was before.
I wish him all the best, and I hope he can, fulfill the potential that we all thought he had, expected him to have. And maybe this experience has taught him a few life lessons that will put him in good stead for the future. Let me bring up the third topic, the fifth, sixth topic. I can't remember. I lost track. Okay, so I want to talk about Robert Sanchez. Robert Sanchez is currently carrying a knock. Is he the one to take us into next season? Because XABI Alonso did say that he is looking at the goalkeeping situation. He is going to assess it in the preseason and decide on what to do during preseason and potentially before the end of this transfer window. Robert Sanchez, undoubtedly one of the best shot stoppers in the league, but when it comes to his ball distribution, lacks considerably. So what do you guys anticipate to happen with Robert Sanchez and XABI Alonso next season?
I think it's down to the objectives of what the club wants to do this season. I think if you're looking for a top four place, which obviously we want for Champions League, Robert Sanchez can get you top four football. Well, you hope anyway. But if you want to push, if you're especially looking at the signs we've done already, I mean that's that's saying something. That's saying that we want to get back into business and we want to be maybe asking questions on the first place, second place door. Sanchez doesn't allow you to do that. There's too many mistakes in there. There's too many points, being missed out because of Robert Sanchez. But unfortunately, we have got a unknown goalkeeper in Penders, and that is another gamble that we're looking like we're gonna have to take. We know that goalkeepers mature a lot later on in their career. Obviously, Penders has been, likened to another Courtois, but is that now? Is that in the future? And it's completely different. It's completely different playing in the Premier League with the ball at your feet. We know Penders has been good at it. We've seen glimpses of it at Strasbourg. But whether or not he can do that for Chelsea when the pressure's on, I don't know. But Robert Sanchez, if you want top four, yeah, sure. But if you want to really push for title contenders, then no.
Okay.
I agree
So,
with that,
yeah. So it's that next step up. If you want to challenge that title, you need that next step up. You need that more all-round goalkeeper. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Max?
Yeah, I agree with everything. It depends again as well. Our manager wants to play Alonso. If he's heavily doing a build-up, goalkeeper heavily involved in the build-up, then no. The reason Sanchez looked okay-ish at the beginning of last season is because we realised, or the manager realised quickly enough that he can't do that building up from the back because he gets a bit nervous. So Maresca, when he was there, he said, okay, just play it a little bit longer. Don't have that responsibility of doing the build-up. When Leroy Rosina, I keep calling him Leroy, his dad, Liam Rosina, when he came in, he went back to this playing at the back defensively, and that's when you saw a lot more mistakes creep in to his game when Rosina came in. And what he did against Barcelona was not Barcelona, PSG was criminal. So dropping him for that game, and then when he came back in, his confidence was shot as well. So I think he's actually a good shot stopper, but he's always got he's a confidence keeper. He's always got a mistake in him somewhere, and if you're challenging for the big honours, yeah, I agree. We can't rely. We have to have a dependable goalkeeper, and we can't have a goalkeeper who's going to be having these bozo moments and getting the crowd on his back as well. Because that's everyone's who's been to Stamford Bridge. You see that, and then the crowd are on his back a bit, and he loses that little bit of confidence. We need somebody who's going to be reliable. Goalkeepers win you titles. We saw that with Liverpool. As soon as Alisson came in, they were a serious team. Before that, then they can be got at, and with the other goalkeepers there in the past. So yeah, we do need a top-notch goalkeeper. I know they want Penders as well. They rate him highly. He's not old enough or experienced enough yet. So if they are looking for another goalkeeper, maybe someone who's I see names like Diogo being mentioned, Diogo Costa, but he's 26. Costa, yeah. Someone like a 28, 29-year-old maybe would make more sense because they'll come in and Penders can get that a little bit more experience, and we get a top draw goalkeeper who's at the sort of lower 20s. Don't know who that is at the moment. I'm not really know any decent goalkeepers in their sort of late 20s, but we can get somebody in their late 20s who can come in, and then we've got that transition period for when Penders is ready.
I have a different view on how people see Sanchez. Robert Sanchez, I think he's the one to take us on a different level. Robert Sanchez, I still believe in Sanchez, and people see Sanchez mistake that he did 2 seasons ago to see that and use those mistakes as him being a very bad goalkeeper. And most of these mistakes were done by it happened because of Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca insisted that Sanchez to be playing out from the back in every opportunity that he gets, to make sure he be passing, distributing the ball, even under pressure. A time even came that he even made it publicly during the press conference, and he said he told Sanchez to do this. If he doesn't do it, he'll make sure he sits on the bench. So here we are, a player, an old school goalkeeper who is not good with his feet. His distributions were not that bad. Even some of his passes were not that bad. They were good passes to Caicedo, to the Enzo Fernandez. Definitely every goalkeeper, even the world best goalkeepers in the world, the All Blacks, the Courtois, and then yes.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I'm gonna go have to get a quick drink. I've got a dry throat. Matt, if you can just take over until I come back.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Cool.
Carry on, Nick.
All right, so the All Blacks and all these top goalkeepers, the David Raya, they make similar mistakes, top mistakes from playing out from the back. Even those that started training and learning football, trying to play out from the back, were making similar mistakes, distributing poorly. That ended up with good results. Raya, making so many mistakes, even him being the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, winning the league with Arsenal, ended up not being the number one for Spain in the World Cup. Even he's living better with his foot compared to Unai Simon, who is not that great with his foot.
Do you know what I mean? Arsenal didn't play possession-based football. Spain do. So it's actually really important that's
the World Cup. I'm talking about the World Cup. I'm talking about him who's so good with his football. Unai Simon might be a fit for the way they play. You get what I mean? He might be a good fit for the way Spain play. I understand. I'm talking about player from the back, which is David Raya, who is so good with playing from the back, made similar mistakes. So
Arsenal didn't play that way last season, really. They weren't a possession-based team that played out from the back, were they? Arsenal weren't playing possession-based football to win the league. They were playing stinky Brexit ball with long, free kicks and long throws and stuff. So I think David Raya he wasn't a keeper that played out from the back, which suited Mykhailo Arteta. And you might be able to argue that Robert Sanchez would have done better at Arsenal than he did at Chelsea, because the last two managers that we've had have wanted to play out from the back. And Xabi Alonso will want the same, not probably to the same degree, but we're still going to be playing possession-based football, which requires your goalkeeper to be able to play out from the back. So,
sorry, Matt. Do you think that a lot of teams, especially last season, saw the mistakes that Sanchez made? Maybe felt a little bit more confident to go up higher up the pitch, make the channels smaller, make them tougher. And then obviously, he's been told to play out from the back. He's got to find someone quickly. And then without, it's gone. It's literally gone. Do you think that there might be a different approach from other teams this season, depending how we're going to set up? So could it be actually with Maxence Lacroix being there a bit more of stable, Xabi Alonso's ideas and the movement and the spaces? Do you think that could actually help Robert Sanchez with, then passes out from the back? Because is it fixable, is what I'm trying to say. Is it fixable?
My opinion on Robert Sanchez isn't that he's a terrible goalkeeper. It's that he's a terrible goalkeeper for us, because we keep bringing in managers that want to play out from the back. I think and Enzo Maresca proved this, right? The only way to fix the Robert Sanchez issue is to play to his strengths, but his strengths don't make your team strong enough. That's part of the problem, right? So let's talk about Sanchez changing from playing short passes out from the back to going to long balls and long distribution, which is ultimately how he feels more comfortable, right? His long distribution accuracy was 33%. So every single time. Yeah, so 2 in 3 long balls that Sanchez is sending out, which is his style, by the way, he's giving it to the opposition and putting us on the back foot. So even when you play to Robert Sanchez's strengths, you're still giving the opposition the ball. Do you know what I mean? So, and the ultimate problem for me is Robert Sanchez has been dropped by 3 different managers. He was dropped by Pochettino, he was dropped by Enzo Maresca, and he was dropped by Liam Rosinha, all for different reasons. We had to do things like bring in Willie Issa, the rugby guy, for the confidence building and stuff, and that seemed to work for a while. But then Robert Sanchez has a couple of bad games and can't pick himself back up again. I think the problem with Sanchez is he has never proven, one thing I do agree with Nee is Raya is in goal for Arsenal every single Premier League game, and there's no question about it at all. And the problem you've got is we had Philip Jorgensen as a backup. Philip Jorgensen never got opportunities because he was good enough. He always got opportunities because Robert Sanchez was bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing with Sanchez. I think that Sanchez needs to go to a team that plays to his strengths, which is being an old school goalkeeper, as Nee said, 100%. But as Max said as well, he's a confidence player. Do you know what I mean? So we need to wrap him in cotton wool for a season and change our team's game around him in order to get the best out of him. And your manager has got ideas for how he wants his team to play, and you can't base that around the strengths and weaknesses of your goalkeeper that you bought for 25 mil, who was Brighton's third choice at the time that you bought him. So I think either Penders comes in and instantly wins that battle, or late into the window, we look at a Diego Costa, maybe back in for Mike Maignan. Robin Roos from Sunderland has been mentioned. But I'll be honest, I don't think Robert Sanchez will be our number one goalkeeper this season.
Who do you think he's going to be looking at first
Look.
in the pre-season? Do you think he's going to want to play Penders first, maybe against AC Milan? Or do you think he's going to want to see Sanchez first?
I mean, he's already seen Sanchez. He's, because he put him out for the rest of the Sydney game. Obviously, he'd been training a little bit. He didn't go to the World Cup. Had him in the squad for all of this time as well. And ultimately, Sharman Lowe has been getting minutes and stuff as well, even in and around that. So, yeah, I think that as soon as Penders is ready, he comes in and gets an opportunity. Xabi Alonso will probably assess him as quick as possible to decide whether it's a risk worth taking or if we're going for another goalkeeper.
All right. I wanna.
Can I jump in? I didn't finish what I was saying. Can I jump in?
Go ahead. Go on, Nick.
Well, this what I want to add to what I was saying before. I don't see Sanchez going anywhere, and we're just looking at Sanchez, and I saw a comment down there, which was indeed is simplify what I was about to say. Before we go to Sanchez, look at the defense in front of Sanchez. Look at the defense in front of Petr Cech. Before look at defense in front of Petr Cech. Sometimes it's not about the goalkeeper alone. The defense can make you goalkeeper one of the best in the world. Courtois had one of the best defense lineup in Sergio Ramos and his guys in front of him. Made him so good. Petr Cech similar. Look at the defense in front of Sanchez. You have what's his name? Tosin, who can run. When you turn him out, he's lost. He doesn't have that mobility to even defend when you turn him out. Gary Cahill will go down and block some of the mistakes that he did earlier in our games last season. Two of them, similar the same way Tosin could not defend. That would not be Gary Cahill. That would not be John Terry. We have a Badi Sheila also in there going in and out. Liverpool wasn't there the whole season. We're here to blame Sanchez that he was the bad goalkeeper, not talking about the defense that we have last season. That's why I disagree. If you're thinking of Penders coming in to be ahead of Sanchez, then you're about to put your hands in your head and say, oh my God, what did we do? What kind of decision did we make? Because Penders is not going to be better than Sanchez in the Premier League. He has not done anything that shows that he can be better. Yeah.
Hey, two things can be right at the same time. Listen, do you think if Petr Cech was in goal, even if it's Tosin and Badia Shield in front of him, do you think that he'll be conceding some of the goals that Sanchez conceded? Don't think.
Well, I don't know how many goals. I don't know how many goals that Sanchez conceded that he shouldn't concede. I don't know how many of these chances. You can pick.
Sometimes
you can tell me some of them.
Sometimes he dives too late. Again, was it Arsenal game? Was it that game where he conceded? And there's a couple. Cause he's got away with a few as well, where he's kicked it straight to a player, and they haven't finished it. There's lots of times, and obviously, you haven't seen. If you've seen him live, you'll know what I mean. I've seen him live at Chelsea, and I get so nervous sometimes at the ground.
Yeah. I've seen Sanchez live. I've seen Sanchez live here in America.
Right.
Yeah,
I get nervous. I get nervous when he's on the ball. Always, yeah.
Because he's been told to do this. And what I was saying is, I've seen defenders who are not marking players very well, and the goal post is very huge. You're talking about good strikers who will not miss. So some of them you say, oh, maybe Sanchez. Some of them it's wicked deflection, and it goes to goalkeepers who concede goals. But most of the time, you got to look at what they're also doing good. Look at the good stuff of these goalkeepers, not just the bad stuff of them. And look at those you have in front of them. Inconsistent back three and back four. The whole season.
I'm saying you think Sanchez is a really good goalkeeper and that it's all smoke and mirrors and that all of the rhetoric around Sanchez is actually just wrong. And you think that you're comparing him to Cech and Courtois at this point about, like Max said. So do you think that Sanchez has got the ability to become as good as Czech and Courtois if you put a better defence in front of him.
I'm not comparing them. I think you missed the point. I'm trying to compare the defense in front of these goalkeepers. I'm not comparing goalkeepers.
I don't disagree with that. Like, the defence was definitely calamitous at a lot of the time, but Sanchez also was calamitous, and we've changed out a lot of the defence now. So it only stands to reason that we might look to do the same thing with the goalkeeper as well.
I think we can say. Sorry,
Well,
sorry.
to me, I tell you, I don't see Diogo Costa coming in. He has to come. You're talking about commanding 60 million plus to bring that goalkeeper from FC Porto or Benfica. I think either one of them. Porto, to bring him into the football club. Chelsea have made a lot of investment in Mike Penders. That is the future. That is the guy that we are trying to train and mold into to become one of the top goalkeepers for Chelsea and be there for a long time. That is why, to me, and what I'm reading, Chelsea are looking for homegrown goalkeepers, and probably Sherman Lowe, whatever, that goalkeeper could be maybe the homegrown goalkeeper they're looking at to be the third choice goalkeeper. But to me, I don't see any other goalkeeper coming to be ahead of Sanchez.
Who's first choice goalkeeper for you next season?
The season coming?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the devil that I already know. Sanchez. It's going to be my face, number one.
So you think
Penders will be second, and then any other goalkeeper coming in to be in the third place. Because if anyone comes right now, it means that if you have to bring somebody in, that will be ahead of Sanchez. Has to be a top tier goalkeeper, number one of the best in the world. You have to pay a lot of money for them. Then you have to try and ship Sanchez out. So I don't know if they have time to do that. Get Sanchez out of the door, all right? Because Sanchez will definitely, for what I know, he'll be returning next week.
Penders goes on loan, Sanchez becomes number 2 if we buy another goalkeeper, it seems.
Then you're going to end up losing Penders again because he's already been on loan with Strasbourg for how many seasons now?
And then he's so young.
Joe, what I would do, I would honestly put Diogo Costa. I would bring him in, and I would send Penders out on loan to Porto. Porto, very competitive league in Champions League. Then we'll start to see what Penders is really all about. I don't think we can judge him from Strasbourg, but I think we can all agree Robert Sanchez isn't our long-term solution, and he hasn't been for a while. So it's whether or not you stick with him for just a little bit longer until you see maybe Penders, take his moment and answer all of our questions. But it is a very, very difficult topic of conversation because we're going into a bit of an unknown, especially I think in the goalkeeper position. I think we're right, and also in that midfield pivot. I think we're going to be left short there as well. So there's a lot up for debate, and I think it's going to be a gamble, and we're going to have to wait and see. I think.
Are you saying that the Portuguese league is more competitive with the French league compared to the French league?
1 second.
Sorry?
1 second, guys. 1 second.
I'm saying, are you saying the?
Yeah. 1 second. We have one more topic to cover. Do you guys want to cover that, or do you guys want to finish off on this one?
I think I got to go eat right now. It's almost 5, and now I got to go eat. So, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you a quick question. For me, for a goalkeeper, because he was talking about he's made some good saves. That's the goalkeeper's job, to make good saves, even outstanding saves. I don't judge a keeper on the amount of saves they make. I judge a keeper on how many mistakes they make. And 100%. That's the thing. And if they're making too many mistakes, then you don't deserve to have the number 1 spot as a goalkeeper, period.
All right, yeah. So I want to, because Chris started to talk about it, and it's a topic that I really want to touch on, and it's the midfield. Need you have 20 minutes, or do you need to go?
I have 10 minutes. So I've been waiting for a while now.
All right, so I'll let you start us off on this one. So let me. So this is the last topic I want to address, and that is Enzo Fernandez, because his situation does seem to be one that developed, stagnated, and now we're hearing that there is talks in regards to a new contract proposal being put forward for João Pedro. So could this be something on the horizon again for Enzo Fernandez? Because Enzo Fernandez and his agent are about to have that conversation with Chelsea Football Club in regards to his future, in regards to potentially staying, potentially moving. If things go as expected and as desired from the Enzo camp, he would be moving away from the club. However, the fee that Chelsea have put on him, the £120 million transfer fee, is one that limits the clubs that can actually come in for him. Where do you guys think we are heading in regards to our midfield in respect to Enzo and potentially others? Because we haven't really brought in anyone to replace Enzo should he go. And I know there is the Argentinian lad. What's his name?
Barco.
Barco, who was announced today. But is he really the one to step in? Where do you guys stand on this? And I'll let you kick us off with this one, Nee.
Look, like I said, I don't think Enzo Fernandez is leaving the football club or is leaving. I know he wants to, but but are they suitors? Are they clubs in for Enzo Fernandez? And if they are, they have to. You're talking about paying over 120 million. How many clubs can afford that? How many clubs? If you look at the Premier League, how many are looking for Enzo Fernandez? I don't see any interest from any Premier League club. And outside the Premier League clubs, how many does PSG want him? Real Madrid have already made a mark. They don't want him. Can Barcelona afford him? Probably no. Atletico Madrid, do they want Enzo Fernandez? Probably, maybe yes. But will they? No. Do they have the money? Yes. But that's why I stand and say I don't see Enzo Fernandez leaving the football club. And for that matter, he will be. XABI Alonso will definitely talk to him and trying to get his mind back on the project. That this is a different project. I'm a manager. I'm not a coach. This is what I want you to do. I'm gonna build a team around a couple of you, and you're involved in the players that I'm building the team around them. Call the team, and I want you to do this. I want you to do that. What do you think? Do you still want to stay? If you still want to stay, yeah. But if you want to force a move, it's up to him. But until he moves, then we can discuss who we think will be coming in. But definitely we're going to have some midfielders. A few players still have to come in. I think just like we've seen Chaverria has been mentioned over here. And probably one more centre-back if Badiashile leave the football club. So another centre-back has to come in because Como is working to get the deal done for Chalobah to join their club. So, yeah, there are a few players that will come in, but I don't see Enzo Fernandez leaving. I wish he leaves. I wish.
Nee, give me your final thoughts on Chelsea moving into next season before I let you head out.
What do you mean?
What's your expectations? What's your feeling in regards to next season for Chelsea Football Club?
Well, I'll say this real quick. Chelsea cannot do worse than they've done last season. The main what we want to see from Chelsea next season is for them to finish top four. One, finish top four, trying to force yourself to win a domestic trophy, and then close up the gap. Close up the gap from whoever wins, 2026, 2027 Premier League. Whoever wins it, trying to close the gap, narrow it at least a single digit. If not, nothing more than 12 or 11, 10 or 9 should be okay. Should be okay from Alonso's first season and from where we finished last season to getting to 10 or maybe making it a single digit. That's all I want him to do. Then, when we get top four, definitely we qualify for Champions League. So, yeah, that's what I'll say. Right. I want to see from Chelsea next season.
Nee, thank you so much for your time on the show. People, Blue Clouds Media, link is in the description. Go check out his channel, show him some love, and great content on his channel. And I think it's daily content, Nee. Isn't it daily content?
Yeah, it's daily content, as usual.
Daily content, yeah. So big up to you, Nee, and thank you for your time, brother.
Hey, you're welcome.
Cheers, brother.
Bye.
All right, let me get your thoughts on the midfield guys and Enzo.
Well, I actually think that it's in the club's hands. I think the club obviously have more control over this than what people think. It's not down to whether Enzo Fernandez or not wants to leave. He's the one that signed on the dotted line. He knew how long his contract was for. I think his agent has acted absolutely horrendously on his behalf through the World Cup. I don't even think he should still be his agent. I am surprised he is going back into that meeting room with him by his side. But as Nee said, there aren't that many clubs. I do see him maybe going to Atletico Madrid if they do get rid of Julian Alvarez, because the funds could be there. Whether or not they want to invest that in Enzo Fernandez, that is another story. But then that might ruin his chances a year or two down the line going to his final destination, which is Real Madrid. Manchester City, there's obviously links there because of Enzo Maresca. They've spent quite big on Elliot Anderson. Have they got any more funds for that, or do they need to strengthen elsewhere? So I think that he could be left with being at Chelsea. And when we was going through our bad patches last season, you could say that Enzo Fernandez was one of the players that still tried to make something, even though we knew he didn't want to be there. He still tried to make something, and he still tried to help out the team as much as he could. So I think with how he left Chelsea before the World Cup is probably going to be a completely different Chelsea to the one he's going to be walking back into. But I think if Enzo stays, that's good. If he doesn't, I think it's still okay, because we have got a contingency plan in place, and I think Chelsea are ready for that as well with the Adam Waltons, and I'll be open to both, I think.
So potentially another signing in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it would be right for Barco to be coming in straight away and taking that position on, because again, he's a small player. He was at Brighton. I actually did like him at Brighton because he played at a left back, and I actually thought he was quite a good player. But obviously, then he's adapted, and then he's gone into the centre mid. But I think you have to have a few more years in there with someone who is experienced in that role to be able to then take on that role fully, especially in a team like Chelsea, especially in the Premier League. I think he'd be a lot of weight on a young player's shoulders too early. And if we are going to be asking for Champions League football, maybe even competing higher, I think now is the time to bring in them type of players that can do it. Because I think, sorry to hold this up, but I think that this season could be an opportunity to strike while the iron's hot. You've got Enzo Maresca going into Manchester City for the first time. You've got Iriola going into Liverpool for the first time. Roberto De Zerbi's rebuilding at Tottenham. How's that going to fare? The big six could be competing up the top for the first time in quite a few years. And I think that now, given with Xabi Alonso and one game a week, I think if we get it right, we could seriously ask questions. And I think with Barco being in there and taking over Enzo Fernandez's place, I don't think that's the right answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. From what my point of view is, he's kind of burnt his bridges. I'd say burnt his bridges. He didn't behave very admirably, did he? With the Madrid situation, but now he's kind of saying, where's the suitors? Where are the suitors? Atletico Madrid, as I said, maybe if he wants to live in Madrid, he can go there. If Man City sell Rodri, because they're looking at 60 million is a bid that I hear that Real Madrid looking at, but Man City is thinking that he's worth more than that, although he's only got one season left on his contract. So the reports I heard is that they're even prepared for him to run down that year because he's more valuable to them than getting 60 million. I think 60 million is a good fee for him actually. But if he does go, then because Maresca's worked with him, so that's the only place I could see him going. PSG are not losing any of their midfielders at the moment, unless Bayern come in for him. That's the only other one. Maybe late on Bayern may come in.
Just keep in mind that Manchester City have got the charges lingering in the background as well, so that might impact the decision making as well. Yeah.
And as for his replacement, obviously we've looked at Adam Scott, we've looked at Wharton, so there are players that we're looking at. I'm not sure whether they are looking at that as a contingency plan in case he goes, or another player to bring in as well as keeping Enzo Fernandez. So everything's on the table, isn't it? And Fernandez may well sign a contract extension, knowing that there's no suitors for him. And for the season, I think we can push. I'm not saying it's the unknown. We are going into the unknown for the season. Even Arsenal are going to be Saliba-less for. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. He's going to be out for a while, so that's going to be a massive loss for them as well.
He's kind of fatigued, and he's
Rice isn't fully fit. Even what's the state of Saka as well, and they're not getting Vinicius Junior, so they can dream on with that one. So, so yeah, it is up for grabs. I can't even call who's going to be the top fours for this season. One game a week, which is good for us if we can hit the ground running, and yeah, we never know what can happen. And we have got that experienced player in midfield. While Barker's coming, that is Henderson.
He's got enough experience for the whole league, man. Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to Hendo and Danny Welbeck and seeing their impact.
Me too.
Matt, what's your thoughts on this situation, brother?
I think the City thing's probably a misnomer for the 115, like you said, but also they're looking at spending 100 mil on Bouadi, the young Moroccan World Cup star. Well, so I think you don't spend 350 mil on midfielders when you're just about to be banned. One of those midfielders who will obviously want to be playing in the Champions League, and Enzo Fernandez as well. So I'm not convinced City would go in for him unless we knock the price right down, and he agreed to do it, bearing in mind the 115 might change things. Vis-a-vis keeping him, the truth is, like, we've already had a bid knocked back for Alex Scott for 64 mil. So I think this idea that we're going to wait until we sell Enzo Fernandez before we go for another midfielder just isn't a thing, because we've already seen that we're looking for one. And if I'm completely honest, I don't think Enzo Fernandez is a deep-lying midfielder in Xabi Alonso's Chelsea. I think the only reason he was able to be a deep-lying midfielder in Maresca's Chelsea was because Maresca was putting fullbacks in midfield, which allowed him to start deep and get forward, which suits his game, which would make sense why he would maybe go to City, who have been playing a midfielder at right back for the last season in Nunes, and are potentially interested in Malagusto as well. So I think Enzo Fernandez showed with Argentina in the World Cup that albeit he can arrive and score in moments, which is classic Enzo Fernandez, like we love that about him, but he doesn't play well as a deep midfielder. He's not robust enough. He's good at being physical when he's getting forward, but he's not very good at defending in the grand scheme of things either for that kind of position. Do you know what I mean? So if Enzo Fernandez stays, I would have thought it would be to do something similar to what we're going to do with Morgan Rogers, but Morgan Rogers is a bit more versatile in that respect. So I think it's a complicated one, man. Like I say, I think we're already looking for a deep line midfielder, and if you look at the profiles of deep line midfielders, we're looking at Henderson, Granit Xhaka, Adam Morton, Alex Scott. None of these guys are like Enzo Fernandez. None of them at all. So Xabi Alonso has clearly identified that we don't have a first teamer with the profile, and it was I think it was Jem earlier who was talking about how important profiles are. Like, I completely agree. I think in the deep midfield for Xabi Alonso's Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez is a bit of a square peg in a round hole, which might cause us issues, because for the last however many years, he's best when he's getting forward. And he's done amazing at that. Do you know what I mean? He's done amazing. The other thing is, like, how many times you got to apologise, man? How many times you got to come back and say sorry to the fans and say sorry to the squad and say sorry to the club because you've sang a silly song or you've, flirted with Real Madrid? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, how many times have Chelsea got to deal with this guy's behaviour and pick him back up? Like, I don't think he gets a new contract now. Even if he stays, he's got 6 years left on his deal. Why would Chelsea give him a new contract at this point? To increase his value even more, so it's even harder to sell him in the future? Like, I don't see it, man. I don't know what's going to happen with Enzo Fernandez, but by signing all of these contracts and by acting the way that he has, and by being the specific kind of profile of player that he is, he's kind of backed himself into this corner where if he does stay with Chelsea, he's got to get his head down and do whatever he's told, because, like Chris was saying, man, Javier Pastore went on a mad one, putting stories into the media trying to make this move happen. And it's wild that he's even still there. I think what makes the most sense from a footballing perspective for me is Atletico Madrid. I think Simeone would love him. Simeone has lots of experience playing centre midfielders, on the left and right in a 4-4-2 with the likes of Koke and Saul Niguez back in the day. Enzo Fernandez has obviously got a great eye for goal, wants to move to Madrid. Like, if there's any way for Atletico Madrid to stump up the money for that, maybe a cheeky Julian Alvarez swap, that'd be all right, wouldn't it? But yeah, something like that would make sense. City, I don't see it happening. PSG, I don't see it happening. Real Madrid, if they don't get Rodri, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Because, obviously City are not keen on getting rid of Rodri because, as Max rightly said, he's worth a lot more to them than 60 mil. He's literally the best midfielder on the planet. So it's just a massive question mark, I think, man, with Enzo Fernandez. But even if he stays, I think we still need a first teamer to partner Caicedo that is an actual deep lying midfielder, which is something I don't feel like we've had for quite a long time.
Someone who can stay fit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we never see him playing.
Lamia, Sugo, yeah. No, we've had issues there. We've had issues there. Listen, lads, fantastic stream. Really enjoyed all the input, the feedback, the debate, the discussion. Big shout out to Jem from Kings of the Bridge. I keep wanting to say GNA TV, but because that's what I link him to. But yeah, Kings of the Bridge, Jem, big up to him. Thank you for coming on. Worldwide Shell Sadiq as well was here earlier. Nee Zion from Blue Clouds Media was here also. Am I missing anyone? That was it, yeah. And the lads here, and I gotta say this, mad congratulations to Matt from the Stanford Sink for hitting 5K live on stream. That is a mad one. Really chuffed for you, brother. The hard work pays off. The hard work pays off, and you're doing a fantastic job. And guys, don't forget also Chris Chats CFC, up and coming Chelsea YouTuber, great channel, great content. He needs to work out how the algorithm works because it's not doing him justice. But he's banging out great content, daily content. So please make sure you check him out as well. And the Blue Bridge, Max Burton. I was watching him before I even went into YouTube. So, great channel, great content. And again, YouTube algorithm doesn't like us. So, big up to all of you. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for making the time. We will be live again next Sunday night. There might be a live stream in between, depending on the transfer market and what is happening. But yeah, if not, I will see you in the next live on Sunday. Keep an eye out for the pre-recorded videos as and when they do come out. But thanks to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and peace out.
Thanks. Bye bye.